Hey friends, welcome to the Friday check-in with Happily Even After Betrayal. Life Coach Jen. I'm so glad you're here. So first of all, I want to talk about my podcast this week. So this week I talk about the double betrayal. And what I mean by that is your spouse has an affair and betrays you, lies to you. And then the double part of that is oftentimes you feel abandoned, discarded, not enough. And so it's a whole other layer of betrayal. And I think it's important to notice and it's important to think about. And the truth is people oftentimes get really stuck in this part of the betrayal, especially when the betrayal leads to divorce and you didn't want the divorce. You don't want to be divorced. Most people initially don't necessarily want to be divorced. Now, some people do want the divorce and they can't wait to end their marriage, but generally speaking, myself included, that's not what I want. I wanted change. I wanted repair. I wanted something different. I never got married to get divorced. And so this is the conundrum that we find ourselves in. So I hope you go listen and let me know what you think about it, because I think I have some useful thoughts and feelings in the podcast. I usually talk about what's going on in the world of betrayal, and there's a lot. I'm just going to talk about what's going on in my world as far as coaching. And I think a lot of my clients, and I've experienced this myself, that when we have kids and we get divorced and our spouse had the affair and our kids appear, of course, to still like their other parent. Now, of course, there's a part of us that wants them to have a relationship. Maybe. Right? Maybe some of us are like, no, I don't ever want you to speak to that person again. It is different when you have younger kids versus adult kids, right? Most of my clients are older, so their kids are more adults. And of course, when our kids are adults, we can't control what they think and feel about the parent that had the affair. Sometimes our kids don't know that their parent had an affair. They don't even know why we get divorced. So depending on where you're at, I just want you to notice. First of all, don't judge yourself for thinking and feeling however you think and feel. Layering on judgment and shame will just keep you stuck. So even if you know it's not the best thing to feel offended or hurt or the unfairness of it, even if there's a part of you that knows, I want them to have a relationship with their dad maybe or their mom, but it still bothers you, just own that. Own the truth of whatever you're feeling. Accept that. Just because you accept it doesn't mean you're going to stay stuck in that forever. And so I think we have to just be more honest with ourselves and be more aware of how we're experiencing it. And I think a lot of times it's because we make how our kids feel, what they think, we make it mean something about us. Now, I ask this question to my clients a lot, and they're like, I don't know what I make it mean, but I want you to consider, what do you make it mean? Get really honest with yourself, because I promise you're creating a story that if your kids like your spouse, what if they like them better? Or what if they don't ever believe my side of the story? Or who knows, there's a million things you could think and make it mean. I just want you to own what you're making it mean. And is it even true? Because our thoughts like to lie to us, right? Our lower brain, our survival brain tells us lots of lies to try to keep us safe. It thinks it's keeping us safe, but it's not keeping us safe. It's just keeping us stuck. And so be very curious and compassionate. If you find yourself bothered or irritated or hurt by how your kids are experiencing the other parent. And it's just a good way to check in with yourself to see, oh, I might have more healing to do. I don't want you to ruin your relationship with your kids. And so decide, what kind of relationship do I want with my kids? What is your result? Because your result is in your thoughts. And so when you're thinking negative thoughts, you're probably going to have a negative result. We're not supposed to just think a happy thought. We've got to feel the pain. I don't know if you listened to my Friday check-in last week, I talked about clean pain and dirty pain. There is a lot of clean pain in betrayal and divorce. We've got to feel all those feelings, but we don't want to layer it on with the dirty pain. Okay? And so remember, we can only control ourselves. We can't control what our kids think and do or what our former spouse thinks and does. Darn it. We wish we could, but we can't. And so how we show up matters. What we're thinking and feeling, what we're putting out into the world, how we're showing up for our kids matters. And it's important, I think, to be supportive. And it's complicated, right? We're navigating something we've never navigated before. And so just have lots of love and compassion for yourself. And just know if you're struggling with this, you're not alone. Now, for me, my week, I'm headed to Dallas actually today, and I'm excited to go spend some time with my oldest daughter. It's her 28th birthday. Can't believe she's 28 years old. And it is my 4-year divorce anniversary. And I can't believe I've been divorced for 4 years. It seems like yesterday, and it seems like an eternity ago. And for those of you that are in the middle of it, are still undecided, for me, I am so grateful I got divorced and I am living my best life. I know not everyone feels that way, but for me, in my marriage, I feel like I'm thriving. And I just want you to see that it's possible to create an amazing life divorced. And there's still a lot of sad and there's still a lot of disappointment. I'm still navigating and figure out my family, right? I have 4 kids, and figuring that out, it gets complicated sometimes. It gets a little just irritating. There are some things that will never be the same. And I've had to grieve that, but actually I feel like I'm creating something even better than I had before, because the person I was married to was lying to me and cheating. And really, I don't think I could be really who I was. And I was always meant to be around him because he thought he was better than me in all ways. And I shrunk. My personality was such that I just became smaller, and that was me, what I did, and I didn't love that. Anyways, enough talk about me. So that's what I'll be doing. If you want to, I'll of course have access with all my clients, but if you're interested in working with me, I am going to be hard to get a hold of this month, but you can always send me an email. And if I can figure out a time to schedule a call, I'm not going to have a lot of availability through my link right now until probably June, but you can message me, send me an email, and if I can figure out a time, I will work on figuring out a time to meet with you. Otherwise, it will probably be in June that you'll have to schedule a time to meet with me, but you can always send me a message and I answer those often. Today is the last day of my Stop Suffering Reset. So if you are interested in working with me, I would just go ahead and purchase the reset, start watching the videos, and then we will do a few coaching sessions together to see if you like coaching. Coaching changed my life. So many of my clients, their lives have changed as well. And it can totally help move you through betrayal, divorce, decision making, uncover some of these patterns that you find yourself in. So I believe in it. I'm very passionate about it. I know it can help you. So if you're thinking maybe it is worth trying, totally worth it. Anyways, so I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're on this journey. Hopefully I can help you, even to give you some words of encouragement. Know that you will be okay. You will not die. I know it feels like it some days, that the pain feels like a lot, but you can rise above the pain. You can feel it, process it, and move on and create an amazing life for yourself and for your kids. Anyways, have a great day, and I will see you next week.